Hello and welcome. This is Group 6, and today we'll be presenting on cricket.
I'm Jeffrey Cox.
I'm Lizzie Ralton.
I am Zachary Shawman.
And I'm Carlos Tepedino.
Before we start digging into cricket, let's just watch a short video so you get a brief overview of what you're about to get into.
Cricket is one of the most dominant sports in the world. The game has been around for centuries, being played by cricketers from all around the world. It's one of the most popular sports with 104 nations as official members of the International Cricket Council. But where cricket is most profitable is India. The Indian Premier League, or IPL, was valued at $5.3 billion in 2017, according to financial advisory firm Duff & Phelps. IPL is a relatively new league. It's in its 11th season and has already generated more sponsorship money than Major League Baseball. In 2017, IPL made $1 billion in sponsorship money compared to MLB's $892 million. So what's the reason for this? The IPL has hundreds of millions of viewers watching a new version of cricket. Leagues like IPL adopted a streamlined version of the sport known as 2020. Traditional cricket matches can go on for days. The longest cricket match lasted 10 days between England and South Africa in 1939. 2020 can last up to 3 hours, making matches more streamlined, easier to watch, and allowing more matches to be played. IPL's 2020 League is a blockbuster event that lasts just over 6 weeks. During the first week of IPL's 2018 season, it pulled in 371 million total viewers. IPL's past viewership caught the eyes of major US-based media companies. In 2017, there was a bidding war for the global broadcasting rights for IPL. Companies like Fox, Facebook, and Sony threw their hats in the ring to get the rights. The winner was Fox, striking a 5-year, $2.5 billion deal for the broadcasting rights. But those rights may end up finding a new home soon. Once the ink is dry on the Fox-Disney deal, the Walt Disney Company would have global rights to IPL. The global rights to IPL are important. IPL isn't the only 2020 league, but it is the most successful. The league's popularity exceeds beyond India's borders. Cricket players from all around the world typically play in more than one 2020 league each year. Since IPL season only lasts just over 6 weeks, there's little overlap with other 2020 leagues. Players from Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, Afghanistan, and Trinidad play in the IPL while also playing for their national teams or others. Fans from all around the world can tune in to watch their favorite cricketer play in the IPL. Cricket has changed a lot since its early beginnings. It's become shorter and more commercialized, and cricket leagues around the world are taking notice of IPL's success, making it one of the most dominant sports in the world.
Alright, now that you have a brief idea of what cricket is, we're going to pass things over to Carlos and he's going to tell you where things came from.
So, the origins of cricket. The game of cricket originated in southeast England in the 16th century, and it is believed that children played it in the woodlands and clearings. So it survived as a children's game up until the beginning of the 17th century, when adults took interest on it. There's also a lot of theories about where the name cricket comes from, but most likely it comes from Middle Dutch dialects used at the time for trades and connection around the area where it was created. Moreover, the basic laws of the game were introduced and kept since then, being codified for the first time in 1774, giving life to what we know as the game of cricket. Now, cricket in the past, cricket became the country's national sport by the 18th century. Then international matches started being played since 1844, and Test cricket started being played, which is the longest version of the game. Cricket also started to arrive to different parts of the world by those years. For example, it arrived in India by colonists in the first half of the century, and shortly after, it went to Australia and New Zealand by early 18th century. Also, around those times, county clubs were founded, and the creation of the railway network helped these teams that were long distance apart play against each other, contributing to the growth of the game. So the past cricket to the 2020 cricket transition. In the 19th century, Test cricket was still considered the highest standard of the game. However, it had its issues. The most notable one being that it lasted days. So in the 1960s, a new version of the game was introduced with only one inning each and a maximum number of overs per inning, which was usually around 50. Limited over cricket was basically one-day cricket, and by 1969, a league for this version of the game was created, causing the number of matches in the county championship to reduce. The number of spectators also increased, and by 1975, using this version of the cricket, the first World Cup was organized in England. All of the Test playing nations were taking part, of course, and now in the 21st century, by 2003, the T20 version of cricket was introduced, which in this case, each team have a single inning and a maximum number of overs of 20, making the game last about 3 hours, which is closer to what other popular sports games last. So this version of the game has succeeded all over the world, and nowadays T20 leagues have been created, such as the Indian Premier League, which was introduced in 2008. So now I'm gonna leave you guys with my partner Zach, who's gonna tell you about the present of cricket.
Alrighty. So moving into the present in cricket, the present of cricket. Currently, the biggest cricket league would be the Indian Premier League, as Carlos stated. It was established in 2008, and it is comprised of 8 teams of 18 to 25 players, and they utilize the Cricket 2020 format. Cricket is currently the most played sport in the country, and with India being one of the biggest countries in the world, if not the biggest, it is the second most played sport in the world, only behind soccer. And part of the reason that cricket is so popular in India is the ease of access. In the picture here that you see, you can see 4 boys engaging in tennis ball cricket, which is a more amateur form of cricket in which they use a tennis ball instead of a hard cricket ball. This is because it's safer for the kids, it's easier to afford, it's replaceable if the ball goes missing, and as you can see, you can play it just about anywhere. These boys appear to be just in the roadway. They have some stones set up behind them. They have a cricket bat and they have a ball. That's all you really need to get going. As far as cricket in India goes beyond like the amateur level, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. With how cricket has grown in India over the years, with them winning like the cricket cups, it brought a lot of advertisement and attention to India that they hadn't seen before. When we saw India winning in the Olympics for cricket, we noticed it caught a lot of international attention, granting them sponsorships from companies such as like Nike and Adidas, to where India became more commercialized when it came to sport. Moving to cricket in the United States, however, cricket in the United States has been around since the 1700s. The first recorded match in the United States was, I believe, in the 1750s. However, cricket only recently became popular in the United States. The United States has an international team that was recently just promoted to the ICC Division II from Division III, meaning that cricket is only growing in the United States. Cricket used to be in a much smaller, much lesser place than it is now, but one of the biggest key factors in the growth of cricket in the United States is immigration. We're seeing a lot of immigration from these Asian and Indian countries, which is leading to more attention, more more desire to play cricket, more of these natives who played cricket in their hometown. So cricket is only growing in the United States. And cricket is one of the biggest team-oriented sports in the United States. As cricket is a team-oriented sport, when you see things like the NBA, you know players like LeBron James and Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, you know the big names. In the United States, you know the U.S. cricket team, which is something that we don't really see that often in the United States. Let's watch a brief video of Shane Warne, Australian cricket legend, talking about cricket in the United States.
Now, you want to bring that to America. You want to use that popularity. You've got a series coming up of cricket games in America.
Yeah, so basically myself and Sachin are hosting. We've signed up 28 players to play 15 games over the next 3 years.
Are the Americans or foreigners?
They're all some of the best players that have ever played the game. Okay. So they're from all over the world.
Now, wait a second. Hold on. I've got to interrupt. Americans think of a cricket game as lasting either all day or 5 days.
Well, there's two things that Americans...
You're not going to try that.
No, there's two things Americans think about. One is crickets are too noisy outside their house when they're trying to sleep. That's one thing they think about cricket. Good. And the other thing is that it goes for 5 days and there's still no result. They say, how can that possibly happen? So what we've bringing to you is what we're finding in all the cricket-playing nations is that this new form T20, which is only 20 overs, it goes for 3 hours. There's DJs, there's music, there's cheerleaders, there's intensity at the crowd, there's noise, and they're loving it. So, and the other thing about it, we're finding that there's a lot of families and children are actually coming as a day of entertainment. They're looking for some entertainment. They bring them down to the cricket ground, which we're playing on Saturday at Citi Field, November 7 at 1 o'clock.
Okay, that's it. Wow. Okay, November 7th, that's this Saturday.
Yep.
You're playing at Citi Field, New York City.
That's it.
It's a 3-hour game.
That's it.
You know, I was at one of these T20 games
cool, huh?
in Adelaide on New Year's Eve.
How good is it?
It was terrific.
It was fantastic, wasn't it?
It was. The families all over the place. Everybody having a good old time.
Yep, lots of kids.
Great.
It really is a great version. To me, it's like WWE meets baseball, and we go for it. That's basically
Shane, I'm sorry, but this is a financial program. I'm going to ask a typical question.
Yeah, okay, go.
Can a man like you, a world-class star, can he make $10 million in 1 year?
Some of the guys do. I don't. If anyone out there wants to pay me $10 million a year, I'm more than happy to try and help you out.
Does, doesn't he?
But Sachin and a few of the guys, the big players in India, would make more than that.
Oh, it was great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having us, and thanks very much for the support. Thank you. And we hope to see you down at Citi Field at 1 o'clock on November the 7th.
That's right, mate. Some of us. I know some of us.
Okay, it was okay the first time.
So as you heard from Shane, in the United States, cricket is a very new concept, and we're used to our American football, even soccer. We're used to basketball. We're not used to cricket. So a lot of Americans don't really have an idea of how cricket works or how long the matches are. Like he said, people in the United States typically think like, oh, cricket, those matches last for days. But when you see the growing attention in the United States and that cricket could still be that same multi-million-dollar industry, billion-dollar industry that our other American sports are, we can see that it's a profitable sport in the United States. It could be something that could grow to great potentials. We just need more education and it needs to be just more popularized in the United States. Finally, just talking briefly about cricket in Asia. Asian cricket is facilitated by the Asian Cricket Council. It's not like the Indian Premier League in the sense where it has teams. It more so facilitates leagues across Asia. This was established in 1983, so this was before India really became the cricket monster that it is today. However, the Asian Cricket Council unifies like leagues between like Pakistan and India and China. We see these teams like being able to work together under one administration and one organization. It's still growing. It was only established in 1983, and like one piece of evidence towards that growth is cricket in India, like as it's grown drastically over the course of the last 12 years. I mean, the Indian Premier League only started in 2008 and it's already become one of the biggest sports leagues in the world. Also, betting is a huge thing in Asia. Doing my research for this, I like tried searching for like cricket betting in Asia and things along the lines. And before I even got close to like finding any information, it was all like websites on like how to start betting on cricket, which I think is super interesting as cricket betting is one of the most engaged activities in Asia in terms of sports betting. There is like almost an unprecedented amount of people participating. I would have never guessed that there was this much going towards cricket, but many people will just bet on how matches will go, how players will perform, and it's just very common over there. So moving on, I'm going to pass it on over to Lizzie, who's going to tell you about some major players and major events of cricket.
I will be talking about the major players. So first, for one of the biggest players, we have Donald Bradman, and he was a huge cricket player back in starting in 1927 till 1949. His batting average was a record high of 99.94, which was definitely insane for those times. And he played for the Australian national team. His nickname was the Don, and Bradman's career test batting average of 99.94 has been cited as the greatest achievement by any sportsman in any major sport. And anyone who knows about cricket knows his name. Then we have Sachin Tendulkar. I'm definitely saying that wrong, but he was active in 1988 till 2013. He played for India, and he's known for a world-class batsman who also has some bowling abilities. So he kind of played two sides with that. He is the highest run scorer of all time in international cricket. Then up next we have Vivian Richards. He played for the West Indies. He's known for being one of the best right-handed batsmen and has won a countless amount of awards for this. His best years active was 1976 and 1988. Right now, he is currently a retired cricketer who represented the West Indies at test and international levels. He is also regarded as one of the greatest batsmen still for all time. All right, now I will be going into the major moments in cricket history. So the first one that I found happened back in 1882, and it was the birth of the Ashes, it was called, and it was the first time Australia has beaten England on England's soil. And this was a very big deal for Australia. And the picture I have under it is like an article, little like news piece that came out. I actually found it kind of funny. Like it stated the body will be cremated and the ashes taken to Australia. So it was definitely a really hard time for England, and was like one of their main stories all over the news. Then we also have Bradman's 334, which happened in the 1930s. Bradman's the really famous cricket player that has like the highest batting average. And this is when he hit a world record number and wreaked havoc to script a famous Australian victory at Headlings as he dominated innings. And this was just one of the major stories for cricket. He was one of the best players and all attention was on him. And he really took charge of this game. And it was another major story. Another big one was India's independence in 1948. So India had achieved independence finally. And because of this, the team embarked on a journey when it comes to representing independent India. It was kind of like a new age for them. And then as a side note, more down in the future, as time went on, in 1971, India emerged and they had a 1-0. They won 1-0 against England, creating a major victory for India. And this was just a big deal for the country. Then another big thing was South Africa returns in 1991. So they were banned for playing for 21 years by the ICC because of their government's racist policy. And finally, their country was doing better, and they were allowed back in, and it was a big deal for South Africa. Then looking into women's cricket, another major moment was the women's WC growth in 2017. So this is the most recent. For the first time, the women's WC semis were finally getting popular due to a really famous player who scored a blistering 171 off of a 115. For the first time, a women's majestic knock grabbed attention, starting their growth of popularity. This was like a big deal for the women's team, and her excellent playing really drew in the eyes of a bunch of people. And this is kind of when how like the women's team started to grow in popularity, and definitely a big thing for past events. And then we have, we'll be going into the global impact.
So cricket has a huge global impact, and there's 104 nations part of the International Cricket Council, also known as the ICC. The IPL has 371 million global viewers. It's estimated to be the second largest sport in the world behind soccer or football, with 2.5 billion people playing and watching. The IPL is only 6 weeks, so players can overlap in their national league, and they can kind of play a little bit more than a normal person could in any other sport. And then it's crazy to think about how big the American and European markets are for sports in general, and that we really have almost limited to no cricket other than maybe 18. There's a huge business opportunity, especially the fact with all these people watching and playing. Fox bought the rights to broadcast the IPL league for $2.5 billion. And it brings in $5.3 billion a year. There are 371 global viewers. And it seems that when there's controversy or things going on in the sport, the price for advertising doesn't drop down, and people aren't pulling back their bids. They're bidding more and more because they know so many people are going to be watching it that they want their brand out there. So it doesn't seem that controversy will slow down the actual market and the business for the sport. And the one of the announcers talking about this, I saw, was saying that he thinks that it is also recession proof. But with Corona going on, I think only time will truly tell. But with that many people playing, it definitely does seem that way. So for mobile viewing, everyone these days seems to have a phone in their pocket. A recent poll showed, I believe, for basketball that about 70% of people have their mobile phone on them when they go into the event. And so not only are people watching from their mobile device at home, they're also now bringing it into the sporting events and having a interaction experience where they can interact with people not at home and kind of see the slow motion and see more live updates on stats and what's going on in different angles, all just from their seat. And the IPL now has a team of professionals just working on the mobile experience. And it's definitely interested to see how this plays out, because it seems like they're putting a whole lot of money and effort into this, to how other sports are going to watch and adapt to what they're doing.
Okay, now talking about the future of cricket, one of the main thing that really depicts the future is technology and all the advances that they've been making. Cricket has been around for centuries and is known to be pretty old school, but recently there have been many technological advances that have come to light that could really change the game forever. An example of this are they're creating bats that are way lighter, cameras and helmets, and virtual reality sets to have a more inclusive experience for viewers. And now I have a short video that I can show about like the advances that they have. And this is a commercial by Intel on like stuff they have made to improve the game. Okay, so now another big part that can dictate the future is obviously the coronavirus. In Australia, 2 months after the start of COVID, the game is set to start again. So finally, they're finding ways to move forward and continue with the game. Officials are planning to live stream matches. They don't know exactly for how long. But right now, for the future, they're more just streaming all of their games and not allowing people to watch it in person. Other countries are following the same guidelines and are slowly promising to continue to play games and stream them. Another big part is the globalization of cricket. Cricket was once one of the most famous sports. The future of the sport looks promising due to the new T20 format. Which is they're making the game shorter because cricket can last for a very long time. And this way, when they're trying to bring it over to America, it kind of makes it more appealing that it's not like a long thing and just easier to watch and stream if it's not days long. The sport is also growing and trying to integrate into the American culture. This is with the 2020 format. Due to all of these changes being made, the ICC they suspect to see a popular U.S. team soon. They have a U.S. team, but they're expecting it to become more popular as time goes by. And every year they do have more viewers, so they're just hoping for this to keep increasing and become bigger in the U.S. culture.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching. This has been Group 6's presentation on cricket. Hope you guys learned something new. Hope you guys enjoyed. And once again, thank you from all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you.